Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow toadstools, to the channel, A.K.A. your boy, also known as Nelson. And thank you for tuning back to the channel. I definitely do appreciate you guys. And before I go any further, if you do your boy a kindness favor, subscribe, share, like, dislike if you're still able to do so, and share a comment on your thoughts on the subject matter we're going to discuss today. With that being said, though, if I may, real quick, y'all, I want to get my disclaimers out the way. First and foremost, please stay hydrated, okay? And I do have my water behind me, and I'm going to keep it there for the duration until I need it. My second disclaimer is take what I say with a grain of salt, because at the end of the day, I'm not always going to be right, but surely I'm not always going to be wrong. And if I can extend that to myself, I can extend it to you. But that disclaimer, y'all, is let's try to be objective first and subjective second at the best of times if it can be helped. Now, all that being said, once again, I would like to give my condolences to the family, to friends, and those who had the opportunity to get to know Mr. Samuels on a personal note, and even in a casual sense. Because I can understand how seeing someone who has risen above the clouds over these past several years definitely leaves a very impactful impression upon themselves, or excuse me, upon the people who consumed his content and was in his presence. Now, I think for the most part, if anyone who's ever heard of Kevin Samuels, you are aware of his interesting takes in regards to relationships and how we get to them. And I want to say, y'all, and a quick pause for a moment. If you guys don't know, I do have a Twitter, and I shared on my Twitter several days ago that I want to take the time to properly get my thoughts together, and of course, not just get my thoughts together, but also respectfully, of course, for me, allow the family and, again, those who knew him to mourn. Because something that, to an extent, I can honestly say that I saw coming, but at the same time, it is disheartening that you still have people out here who would celebrate the death of a man that, at the end of the day, regardless if you love the man, you hate him, there is some aspiration of respect you could have for a fellow human being. Then you understand that, you know what, if it is for a fact he had passed away, because there were rumors, or it was portrayed as if it was rumors, and you just see people online, social media, celebrating his death. Now, the thing is, I have not seen it personally. Because I've said this before, if you guys are familiar with me for the most part, you know that I try my best not to stick on social media too much. Because too much of a good thing can be a bad thing. All right? And social media can be a force for good as it can be a force for evil, quote unquote. And I'll be the first to say, y'all, that I'm not going to sit here and pretend as if I love Kevin Samuels. I won't say that. I think more so I had a great amount of respect for him. I think that's the best way I could sum up my impression of him. Because I wasn't someone who was, let's say, a big fan, and to be honest, I didn't consume a lot of his content. But what I saw oftentimes was something that was very interesting to take in as an observer and say to yourself, okay, that's very interesting points that he does make. And more times than not, he cares about having those one-on-one sessions with people, be it if it was on his lives or not, in a sense where, well, let me figure out, in a general sense, where are you coming from and what do you need? Which I respectfully understood. And another thing I had great admiration for him was definitely how he carried himself with men and encouraging men, like, look, because I understand that some people have had trouble with his concept, the concept of having a quote-unquote a high value man. And I won't go into details in this particular video, but I do want to say is that it's very interesting that how many times you see people, especially women, who it goes over their heads. And that's not to say you're stupid or anything like that, or you just don't get it necessarily. It's just as it's coming to you, you can't really identify what's being thrown to you. So it's understandable. Sometimes you might duck. That's why it goes over your head, because you don't fully understand what's being thrown to you, which I completely understand. I get it. We all been there. Now, nevertheless, y'all, again, because I don't want to make this too long, because more so the root of this video is going to go more in terms of something that I shared with Melody King's live stream, because she covered this, because I believe it was Thursday, if my memory serves me right. It was Thursday, and I was just scrolling through, just give y'all context what I'm getting to. It was Thursday afternoon, going to the evening, and I was scrolling through YouTube, and I noticed she was live. And in the live, it had something in regards to Kevin Samuels passing away. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, just now? Because I generally did think, oh, it must be not maybe a mistake. Maybe it was someone, again, along the lines of rumors. Because, again, to my understanding, he was only, 50? Because his birthday just came around. So he was 57 years old when he passed away. And that's relatively not that old in comparison to how long people lifespan have extended at the very least. But when it was confirmed, I can understand how upset she was, and she was allowing people to come on in and share and express themselves in terms of how you gathering the news or how you were expressing yourself in the moment. And I got it on there, and I probably will link it somewhere down in the description and or in the comment section down below, y'all, so you go check it out. But I got into the live and I said that I can't speak too much on Kevin as of right now, but I said in terms of her grief, because you can see it, I decided let me share just quick 2 stories. And I'm going to go a little more in depth with them today. Real quick. Just make sure the full context is understood why I'm about to say what I say by the end of this video. And this is this. I strive in my life not to speak ill of the dead. And what I mean by when I say not speak ill of the dead, I mean I try my best not to speak as if I knew that individual from the cradle all the way to their grave. Because, always remember this, y'all, and I was just sharing this earlier in one of my live streams today. And again, everything about my live streaming you'll know in the description box below. Anyhow, I shared on there that one of the reasons why this has been something that has stuck with me for a long time in my life, y'all. In my 27 years, I'd probably say more than a decade. Is because ultimately you do not know the totality of someone's life. Now, I do understand that we can use vocal points that are, let's say, well documented or say is well known to the general public. We can use those to measure up someone's character by the end of their days. But to me, that is not fair. Because again, they are not able to give their take, give their own insight about it, or say have the ability to defend for themselves. Case in point, I'm going to use Michael Jackson. Now, if any of you guys have watched those recent interviews or those recent specials of, revisiting the case or revisiting what happened in those rooms with the children, I said it then and I'm going to say it now. At the end of the day, y'all, Lord only knows what happened in those rooms. Because here's the thing. Yes, the children, now they're grown, surely they were present, so they should know the whole truth. That may be the case, but again, their perception at their age could be very different as they're looking back as adults. Same thing could be said for Michael. Maybe they saw something, and here's the thing, children are easily manipulated. So that's something to consider. And I've even said this to this day, y'all, is that as far as I'm concerned, I don't follow the children, I follow the parents. Because as much as you may love Michael, what adult in their right fucking mind, regardless of who it is, will allow their child to be in a closed space, especially when they're at their most vulnerable, when they are asleep, and you're not at the very least immediate family? Or I'm not fully aware of who your character is. Because just because we're talking about Michael, does not mean there's something else going on with him. That's something to consider. But again, at the end of the day, he's not here to defend himself. So I will not dare speak on him as if I knew him from the cradle to the grave. I would not do that because that's disrespectful as far as I'm concerned. Especially if you go into the realm of the, I'm trying to make sure I'm saying this right, y'all. So excuse me for a minute. The degradation. I'm probably fucking that word up, but not dissociation. It's some other word, but essentially you're putting someone's character down, or character assassination is probably a better way I could say it. And I don't rock with that. I do not rock with that. And and again, I'm probably going to cover this in another be it stream in another video. But again, understandably enough, when it comes to Kevin Samuels, regardless if you love or you hate the man, at the end of the day, I will not know the totality of who he was at the end of the day. Only Lord knows. Regardless if you call yourself to be religious or whatnot, I say that. Only the Lord knows. Only Lord knows. And at the end of the day, I wish nothing but peace onto that man's life, wherever he may be. But real quick, y'all, in regards to grief, because I understand right now, whoever might be watching this, you might be still grieving for his loss. And I'm going to share two quick stories, y'all. Quickest stories of what I've learned from my own sense of grief. The first story I'm going to share with you guys, and I've actually shared it before, but I'm reiterating it in this particular video. A few years ago, y'all, one of the people who are in our friends group that we developed on Discord had passed away. And the thing is, when he passed away, it took him maybe about a week later, because one of our other friends in the group had worked with him or was close enough to where they were working associates. And he came to find out that his boss later on in the week had told him. And the part that fucked with him was he just saw him a few hours ago because they went to a special event, some like not Viacom, but like a con or something along that lines. And he had informed us and he was telling us about what was going on as far as he knew. And we were just trying to figure out, okay, what could have caused his death? Because we were thinking maybe it might have been foul play. But by the end of it, I had said that, you know what? We can speculate all day, every day, but it is possible that maybe he just passed away on some just unfortunately there was just I'm trying to see what's the best way I can say this, y'all. Just some dumb shit. I'll say that. It's just some old dumb shit. And this is what happened. And please, again, take heed when I'm just sharing this with you guys. Because again, this is a personal business. But again, what happened was, y'all, he went to a room, he ordered some pizza, and he essentially was eating by himself. And to my knowledge, I would assume that I assume he didn't know how to do the Heimlich maneuver on himself. So essentially, he got stuck. He got suffocated. And after that, y'all, when it was fully confirmed what had happened, I had sat back and I just thought to myself, like, wow. And I believe he was like the second to the youngest of all of us. Because he was only 25, I believe. 25 at the time. I think, because like I say, y'all, it's been some years, so I would probably say he would have been about, because I want to say it's been about how many years now? Maybe about 3, maybe about 4 years now. So he would probably be around 29, 28, maybe, around this time. And maybe any one of my friends, y'all can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But the reason I share that with y'all, that particular first story, is because ever since when I fully found out exactly what happened, I'll be honest with y'all. Anytime I eat something, ever since that day when we was fully confirmed what was happening with him, Now when I eat, y'all, and even with my family, I harp on them. Please chew your food all the way through. Even like, and again, I'm not gonna say we never done that where we eat food and we're talking to somebody. I'm not gonna say that doesn't happen. But nowadays, I harp on my own family about like, don't talk to me when your mouth is full. And it may come off a little rude. It may come off a little off-putting at times. But it's like, and even myself, y'all, on a subconscious level, even when I'm eating, especially when I'm by myself, y'all, I try to make sure I have something around to drink or something just in case, like a chair or something, just in case, because that might happen to me. And even though I've never performed the high leg maneuver on myself, I still am willing, just find something just in case. Now, the second story I want to share with you guys is through my neighbor. We're gonna call him Mr. D. So Mr. D was relatively a old man, elderly gentleman. Let me say that. And the irony is that it took, unfortunately, my next door neighbor's one of her pipes had busted underneath her house. So the thing was, the whole reason he even came to my house was because the water was raising up and going to the ditches. And during that time, I believe it was during the summer. Then you know how you have all the bugs in the air, trying to find somewhere cool to settle down for a second. So his concern was, where is this water coming from? Because we don't need mosquitoes building up. And that would cause him to come to my house because he thought it might come from either our backyard or from the neighbors. And from there, I had a few months to really get to know the man and engage with him. And I tell people this, that I had a feeling his time was coming. His time was coming. But I thought I would have a little more time with him. And the irony about it, y'all, is this man has been in this neighborhood before even I came. And I think to myself, it's amazing that how many years I could have had with him, and I only had a few months. And what I try to do, y'all, when that thought crossed my mind, is I try not to allow myself to be, I suppose, for a lack of a better word, down in the dumps about it. Because ultimately, I am grateful for the time I was able to know him. And the thing is, y'all, several months have passed last time I saw him. And the truth of the matter is, y'all, I could have gone and saw him if I wanted to in that time frame. But I allowed my pride to get the better of me, because the last few words he said to me, he said that, Nelson, I'm mighty proud of you. And I didn't want to get emotional in front of him. And it's not to say that because I have my parents, and I'm not gonna say they never say, "Oh, I'm proud of you," or whatnot. I'm gonna say that, but it meant something very different from him. And I said to myself, I'm going to get on the track of making sure that I earned his words. And the thing is, y'all, during the course of those months, I didn't do what I was supposed to do. And the day that I thought of finally going over and seeing him, I saw the neighbor. I chatted with him for a second. He had told me that Mr. D had passed away, and his funeral was just last week. And when he told me that, you go through that sense of disbelief, like, really? Are you serious? And I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. But I said, let me go back home. Let me sit down for a second. Because I knew the grief that, comes from the passing of someone you care, you love, is gonna come at some point. Sometimes it could be a delayed action. Sometimes it may take a month. Or it may take years for the grief to finally come to you. But I knew that evening it was gonna come. And ever since that ever since that day, y'all, I've been punishing myself for not going to him as a man and saying what I should have said. But recently, y'all, in the past few months, I've worked on myself to finally get to that point where I can make him proud, or at least I like to believe that I can make him proud. And now, the whole reason why I shared those two particular stories with you guys is because through my grief, I had a period of trial and error within myself. And ultimately, what I had to come down to decide and understand, y'all, is that one way or another, no man's life is promised tomorrow. And at the end of the day, y'all, every single one of us, the only thing that we can guarantee in this life is where there is a will, there is a way to make it through. If you possess it, you can make a way for however long that is. And so, y'all, I look at my life and I say to myself that, you know what, tomorrow may be my final day. And so when I get on my streams, I always try to leave off something that whoever's watching me, be if it's that day, be if it's the next day, the next 100 years that they come across it, it was something worthwhile that they could take with themselves for the rest of their days. So I say this: if you watch Kevin Samuels, regardless if you love or you hate the man or whatnot, I would hope that he distilled something worth keeping in your life for the long haul. If that was in the realm of ambition, if that was in the realm of being honest, if that was in the realm of being truthful, if that was in the realm of being respectful, if that was in the realm of being assertive, regardless of whatever it may be, I would hope it strives to be a betterment in your life. And please excuse me if I seem like I'm a little bit all over the place. But nevertheless, y'all, again, rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. And I would hope that, again, wherever he is, he's at peace. And that he knows that his words did not fall on deaf ears. And that we're going to continue to strive to improve our relationships, be it with not just our spouses, be it with our boyfriends or girlfriends or our significant others, whatever you want to call them, but with ourselves as well, and get ourselves right. But with all that saying, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow Toast thank you to the video. I definitely appreciate it. And again, y'all, I do have several videos going forward in regards to several things that I've learned from Kevin Samuels that I'm going to go more in depth of later on. But with all that being said, y'all, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace. Oh, and another thing I do want to say real quick, y'all, is today, if you see my ensemble, this is another thing I will say, and I'll go in depth another day. But this is another thing I did admire, and I did agree very much when it comes to Kevin Samuels, is definitely want to improve your wardrobe. And at the end of the day, you can be a working class man, but it's nothing wrong to sprucing yourself up, make you feel good. No, get your style right. Experiment, try different things. So definitely, y'all, I'm going to try to keep this trend up as long as I can. But again, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Namaste. And I'll catch you later.